Hello, welcome to my reality YouTube show. In this video and a series of other videos I'm going to be dropping on this YouTube channel, I'm going to be breaking down every single step that I'm taking to build a side hustle to 200 million naira in revenue. So 200 million naira in revenue is about $100,000, all right? So it's possible I might fail. It's possible that I might pull this off, who knows? But I intend to share all of my process with you. And the reason why I want to do this is because I want to share this process with you so you can implement it in your own business, use it to grow your own business. But then you might be asking, why exactly am I doing, am I being that nice? Well, I have a very selfish reason that I am doing this for. And the reason is because I want to grow this YouTube channel, and I know that the only way I can do that is to give something very valuable to you. So that is why I am sharing real life experiences, battle tested strategies, things that are working for me as I try to build 100,000 in a year business, or if maybe it might not be up to 100,000 in a year, but who knows? We might pull this off, we might not pull it off. But the thing is that I intend to actually pull it off. All right, so don't take this as self-doubt. It's not doubt at all. But then, um, you know, just in case. All right, so um, I'm going to be explaining every single thing, probably making this video 2 times a week, once a week. Some weeks I might probably not make the video at all if I don't have anything to share, but every single time that I have something to share, I am going to make the video for you. All right, so now the first thing that I noticed when I started out this entire journey was that I was suffering from something called overwhelm. And I think that that is the one problem that a lot of people are going to have when they want to build something. So the first time you want to build something, you feel overwhelmed. You have a lot of these things going on in your head. You're wondering, can you be able to pull this off? Is it going to be possible to get results, right? And I had the same struggles too. And one thing that brought clarity to me is what I call the clarity table. Okay, that's not no, that doesn't sound well. So let's call it the clarity line. All right. So the clarity line was the thing that actually brought clarity to me. So basically, what this means is that while I was wondering where should I start, what should I do first, I just drew a single line on my plan on my journal, and then I just drew this line. All right. So and that's why I call it the clarity line, because this line makes everything clear. All right. So basically, I'm going to tell you what's in the line. I think I should take this down a little bit so it doesn't block the entire board. Good. So I'm going to tell you what's in the line. All right. And the first thing in the line is the offer. All right. So the offer, right? So we want to build an entire big business, right? So how do we do this? The first thing we need to do is to have an offer. I mean, people need to buy stuff for a business to grow. So I just said, okay, what exactly is the offer? The second thing that I did was I created an MVP for the business. So the MVP is basically the first thing that I need to do, and then before I now build every single thing on top of it. So for example, if you want to build a big company, you have this very big idea. I want to build a very big company. The big company is going to solve the needs of 200 million people around the globe, right? It's a very big idea. And if you're stuck in thinking about how the destination of the idea, you find out that you feel overwhelmed because you do not actually know how to go from 0 users to 200 million users, right? So what I did was to create MVP. So the MVP is the baseline on which everything will be built that is going to actually bring those number of users that I intend to get in the future. All right, so that is exactly what the MVP is. So the MVP gives you clarity on the first step. And then every single thing you now do is going to be building on top of that first step, right? So the next thing that I figured out is the branding. Okay? So now the mistake I made is that I outsourced my brand. Like I got somebody who was a brand expert to, sit down, talk to me, and then I paid I paid big amount for somebody to draw up the branding for the company that I'm about to build, right? And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all to do that. And the reason is because of the MVP mindset, right? I should have gone with a simple brand design somewhere on Canva, then I didn't do that, right? So I'm going to be explaining what branding is in this context and why you should not do the mistake that I made by outsourcing it to a brand expert. You can do the branding setup yourself, but we're going to talk about that when we get to that point, right? So the first thing that we want to look at is offer. The offer. So what exactly is the offer? All right. So there are basically two types of offer when you're trying to brainstorm your company or when you're trying to build a big business that is going to really solve the needs of millions of people, or hundreds of thousands of people. And the two type of offer is the main offer and the MVP offer. I'm going to show you exactly what it is. First of all, what we're going to be looking at now is something I call the main offer. So the main offer is the premise on which your business is built. The premise, the foundation of your entire business. What exactly are you doing for people? And the reason why this is important is because the reason why anybody is going to do business with you is because they need an outcome. All right, it's a very, very simple way to look at this stuff, right? The reason why you buy Coca-Cola or Coke is because Coca-Cola, let me use Coca-Cola please before I say things that will slam this, or you just want to scratch the taste itch, like you just want to have it and feel good. Okay, that's the outcome. And that's why these companies, they know the outcome that you expect, and they show you those outcomes in the commercials you watch. So if you watch the Coca-Cola commercial, you see that it's a sunny day, there is a guy at the beach without putting on shirt, and then he walks over, he sees this cooler of Coca-Cola, there's a lot of ice inside, and then they want to take one and drink, right? So that is them presenting the outcome that you want in their commercials, which means that the first thing you need to determine is what exactly is the outcome that people want. And I have a formula for determining that. It is how to dash without. All right, I'm going to be using my keypad to do this without dash. All right, so as we grow, I'll probably put on more sophisticated gadgets, probably write with a stylus pen instead of doing this with my mouse and all of that. But then the idea of this entire program or this entire thing that I'm doing is to show you that every single thing is going to be done rough. I might probably not edit this video even. So it's going to be done rough. You're going to be getting the undiluted facts, the undiluted content right here on this channel. And we're not going to try to design anything to make it look picture perfect. It's going to be the raw stuff. All right, so now this framework, or what I call the offer statement or the offer framework or the offer generation framework, if you want, helps you determine the kind of outcome that people want. And here is the desire. So this is, I'll call this X. Let me call this X. It's X, right? So it's going to be fancy. And then this is Y. All right, so where X is equals to the desire of your target audience and Y, avoid. So the entire company I'm going to be building in the next few months is going to be built on just this single thing here, right? This single offer generation framework. And it's a very, very amazing process because it puts everything into perspective, right? It makes you actually sell stuff that people want. Because if you don't sell stuff that people want, people are not going to buy. I mean, it's very, very obvious. But a lot of times, people don't know how to determine what people want. But this framework makes it very easy for you, right? So, but then it goes without saying that there is a silent alphabet, if you may, there, which is Z, and the Z is the audience. I mean, you need to be very clear on the audience that you're selling to in order to, you know, be very specific, in terms of your marketing and all of that. All right. I'm going to show you how to come up with the best audience in the next video. I'm going to do that. I should have done it in this video, but then it's a very big video on its own. So in the next video, I'm going to break down how to find the right perfect audience. All right. So good. But let's look at the offer generation framework. All right. Now you need to first of all design. Let's also use, let's say, a hypothetical audience, and that is people that want to lose weight. All right. And X for them is how to lose weight. Let's just use it as basic as that. How to lose weight without. Why? What are the obstacles that people that want to lose weight want to get rid of? The first one is, they want to lose weight without sweating too much at the gym. They want to do it the easy way. They want to do it without eating tasteless meals, right? So the outcome becomes how to lose body weight without endlessly sweating at the gym and eating tasteless meals. Very simple. And every single thing we're going to now build is going to be on this single promise, right? And this gives clarity to us when we are building the company, and then makes us know, okay, look at the outcome that we want to. This is the outcome that we want to create in this company. This is how we're going to get there. So every single thing you do in your company becomes how you get to the outcome. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that as we go on. So, but then with this framework, you'll be able to determine what the main offer of the company you want to build is. So let's take, for example, a friend of mine is trying to launch a business selling used laptops, right? So using this offer generation framework, his outcome could be how to get used laptop without worrying about any fault, right? So the one thing that people who want to get used laptops might be worried about is they're worried about if the laptops are in good condition, right? And then this becomes the foundation on which all of the marketing is going to be hinged. It becomes the foundation on which all of their promises, everything they do in their company is going to be hinged in terms of also internal culture and all of that. All right, I don't know if this makes sense. Okay, good. So now the next thing that we want to do when we have come up with our base offer using the offer generation framework, as you've seen here, is to go over to MVP. We need to design an MVP. So the MVP becomes the one thing that every other thing will be built upon. So I'm going to give you an example with let's say iPhone or Apple, the Apple company, right? So the Apple company didn't get started they didn't get started to have the Apple Music, the Apple Store, the App Store, the different iPhone chain. They didn't come out creating the different iPhone chains. They didn't come out having MacBook and all of the things that a business is made of now, right? They came with a single product first, and then every single thing was now layered upon that single product. All right. Now, it's the same thing when you want to launch a company. The first thing you need to do is to determine the product, is to determine all of your marketing, the very baseline of your marketing. And this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing at GoStack. The first thing that we determined was our tripwire. All right. Again, in the next video where I break down how to know your audience, we're going to go into how to determine your tripwire also. I'm going to show you a very simple process that we use to know exactly, to guess, not to know exactly, because it's to guess what exactly is most likely going to work when we take it out in the market. Okay, so I have like a methodology that I used The same methodology that we apply in all of our other businesses, and we are also applying it here, and we know it just works. So the next thing that we do is to determine something called the webinar. So the MVP is just the straight line, clarity line, call it the webinar, the sales page, $50 emails. All right, so this is like the MVP structure that we have. All right, so the MVP structure is very simple. Okay, so here I'm going to do this 2x. I'm going to do this divided by 2. Good. So the way this is structured is very, very simple. I'm going to explain it for you. So what is the tripwire? Now, the tripwire is the single list product that would sell to people so that they can come in and experience our world. So for you to understand what the tripwire is, I think the best perfect example I can use to explain this is to think of the Apple company, right? So when you buy the iPhone, all right, iPhone is the tripwire that brings you into the Apple company, because when you buy the tripwire, the next thing they will do is you have to get Apple Music. All right, you get Apple Music. All right, you get Apple App Store, and some of the apps on App Store are paid for. All right, there's a likelihood that your charger is going to get missing in the future or probably blow up from power surge. So you have accessories and so on and so forth. So the tripwire is like the precursor, the thing that makes you buy the other things. Now, if, for example, somebody says buy, right, you do not need a MacBook charger because you don't have a MacBook. All right, if you don't have a MacBook, actually. And that's the same thing. That same psychology is the same thing that we use when we want to create, build any company. The first thing we want to do is to create a low-priced tripwire. All right. Of course, the iPhone is very expensive, but then, when you're trying to build a company from scratch, you need a low-priced tripwire. So that the reason why you need a low-priced tripwire is for two reasons. Reason number one is as a filter. It serves as a filter. So filter in the sense that only people that are interested in what you have to say would actually bring out money to buy. There are two types of people on the internet. There are people that buy stuff on the internet. The buyers are buyers. That's how we say that. Buyers are buyers. They would always buy. And then there are people that won't buy no matter what you do. So what you justify these buyers by giving them a high level value for a little price. A high level value for a little price. For us, what we want to do is that we're going to give for 5,000 naira, which is very, I don't know how much this is in dollars, but you can actually check on Google if you're listening to me from outside of. It's between 5,000 naira to 5,000 naira to. Okay. So the idea is they come in, they experience us from this little price product, and then we ascend them. All right, and that's why we said this. So right here are going to be some emails that delivers the product that they bought, and then ask them after some days to watch a webinar. Okay. So now this webinar is where we are going to try to upsell them into a 99,790 or 970. I don't know. I'm not very clear on the. I think it's 37. Yes, it's 37,970. All right. So we're going to try and upsell them into a 37,970. Okay. And then we're going to have two sales pages. So sales page. What's the webinar exactly? Let me just clear what the webinar is. A webinar is a free online seminar that provides enough information to make people to make people to desire the product that we want to sell. So provide enough information to make them to desire the product they want to sell. So the way to do this is to show them step 1 of their journey, and then sell step 2, 3, 4, 5 in the program, all right, or in our offer, or let's take for example, Apple, right? If Apple wants to do a webinar, then they might probably do a webinar on security issues that people experience with phone, the dangers that can happen when you have a mobile phone that does not have tight security. And then the upsell would now be, drum rolls, the iPhone. All right, so that's exactly the same concept here. So the tripwire is to filter people in, and then also provide enough value to make them decide to go to the next step. So when you want to think about this, think about the Apple company, and then you see how this MVP plays out using the Apple company as an example. So imagine the tripwire is the iPhone, like the App Store. This stuff too. You're gonna can experience more apps. You can experience music if you want, Apple Music. All right, that gets you in and make you want to pick up some other stuff from the Apple line of products. All right, so now we have 2 sales letters. So the first one would sell the tripwire. All right, so the first one sells the tripwire. So the second one would sell this one. All right, second one would sell this second product. Okay, and then in between we have a few emails here. We have another email after the webinar. We have email. So think of this 50 email as between the tripwire and webinar, and then 25 between the webinar and sales page. Now, if you're new to this, you might be wondering, how do we set these things up? I'm going to be explaining all of that as we go on, but this is what the MVP looks like. Okay, so we have 2 sales letter, 50 emails, 1 tripwire offer, a webinar, and our main offer. All right, now every single thing we will now do will be layered out up on this MVP. Okay, so that is it for the MVP. So now the next thing we want to do is to make sure that we come off correct. And one thing that's going to help you to come off correct is something called branding. You need to have like a recognizable brand, and you need to look good, because when you look good, you attract people. All right. People want to be able to feel that brand consistency across every single thing you're creating in your brand. So your logo needs to look in shape. Whenever you're creating content online, it needs to have the same sort of color scheme, the same text. People need to be able to recognize you at a glance. All right, and one thing that would help you do that is the branding. All right, so I think I need to wipe off this. I need to wipe off this. All right, and now you see this. So sales page times 2, 50 emails divided by 2. All right, there's a lot of imperfection in this video. I'm thinking, do I need to edit the video? But let's see. All right, so that's it. Okay, so this is the clarity line for the MVP. Okay, but then back to branding. So what you need for branding is you need to be clear on your logo. You need to be clear on your color, the color pack. All right, you need to be clear on what's the other thing? You need to be clear on typography. What type of text do I need to use? Use clear text, use catchy colors. All right, I mean, there's a whole video out there on how to pick up the right logo, the right colors, the right typography. I'm not going to go into all of that here. I'm just telling you what you need to focus on if you want to get started with your logo. And then you also need a brand voice. Okay, so this is it, do you want to have a serious professional brand voice, or do you want to have a playful brand voice, friendly, fun kind of brand voice? You need to decide on that, and these are the 4 things that you need to do. So I told you that the mistake I made was hiring a brand expert to do all of this stuff for me. If you have the money, you can do that, no problem about that. But then if you're getting started, you just want to launch out your MVP very quickly without spending so much money on a whole lot of stuff, Then what you have to do right there is to go on Canva, um, maybe Canva Pro or something. I'm going to share a link in the comment section for anybody who want to get Canva Pro. So when you get Canva, the professional version of Canva, you'll have an option where you can develop your brand kit. So all these entire things are called brand kits. So that any single time you want to design content for social media, content for your website, your YouTube channel, you just go into your brand kit and touch up a little thing one here and there, and you have your brand kit set up. All right, so I'm going to explain how all of that is done, but then this is it, right? So if you want to get started, you need to be clear on your offer. I think this is the first thing you need to work on right now. You need to be clear on your offer, and then you need to understand that this is the brand voice that you need to use. All right, I mean, this is the MVP that you need to come up with a clarity line, and you then need to create your branding. So in the next video, I'm going to go into each and every one of the steps that I've lined up here. All right, I'm going to show you the process I'm using to come up with the right tripwire and how to say the right things in a sales letter that's going to get people to buy the tripwire. I'm also going to be sharing you some of the tests that I did with our, just show you some of the tests that I did and all of that, and all. Just show you the back end and all of that. All right, so we're going to break down tripwire, webinar, sales page, emails in a series of email that we want to create. So if you're following my process and actually asking yourself how you can implement this in your business or in a business that you want to get started, you'll be able to follow this step-by-step process and actually do it yourself. All right, so in the next video, we're going to go deep into tripwire. I've said that before. I need to log out. All right, thank you very much, guys, for listening to me. I really appreciate it. See you in the next video, where we break down the various steps of the MVP so you can build your own MVP with me. Bye.